Coming up next is DC News number 117, where we're going to talk about beginnings and endings in the DC universe, actually in DC Comics, period. We're going to talk about the end of books like Sweet Tooth and Justice League International and Captain Atom. And we're going to talk about the start of great new books like Talon and Phantom Stranger and Team 7 and all sorts of other wonderful books.
I'm looking forward to all those!
We're also going to talk about the new book at Vertigo called Collider. And we're going to have all sorts of fun with that. Oh, yeah. And then we're going to talk about who's going to take over the art chores on Justice League next year. All that and more coming right up.
DC Comic Book News. Bo and Comic Book Man style. Hey, buffoonery is a style.
There's an important moral lesson in every one of these. We're not just pretty faces. DC Comic Book News, episode 117, before Borborygmus set in.
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for, I haven't done that in a while. It's time for
DC News.
DC News! And DC News is coming from this place.
Yes!
Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie. Be careful when you come down here. There are tar pits everywhere.
We're reliving the Mesozoic era.
Yes, we're reliving the Jurassic period is just about to begin here.
Richard Attenborough is now signed up as a subscriber.
We're all my DC Comics, alternate reality. We're all my DC Comics. We're always 15% off every day for everyone. This is an all beginnings and endings edition of DC News. We're going to talk about books that are ending, books that are beginning, a little bit of creator changes, and first up we're going to talk about, the Zero issues are coming up from DC Comics real soon, and spitting out of those Zero issues will be what?
4 brand new DC titles. You'll have a Zero issue, and then you'll have a number 1 for these books in October. Okay. One of the books will be Talon from Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, and
Talon?
March. Talon. There is one Talon left who actually is a good guy.
What's a Talon?
Court of Owls. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ on a cracker! Where the hell have you been?
Wow. Bo, you need a vacation.
Feel better?
You're on vacation.
I think DC did a book called Talon way back when. That's what it is.
Sword of Sorcery from the revival of Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld from Christy Marks and Aaron Lopresti.
Sword and Sorcery is also an old title from DC, which ran, I think, 5 issues back in the early 70s.
It'll have a Beowulf backup from Tony Bedard and Jesus Saiz.
Jesus
Saiz.
Not Jesus.
His favorite new book of all of this, Phantom Stranger from Dan DiDio and Brent Anderson.
Because Dan DiDio has such a light touch in his writing. He really does.
And another book he's going to love, Team 7 from Justin Jordan and Jesus Marino, which is a team of...
One of those miserable Wildstorm books coming back.
Dinah Lance, Amanda Waller, Steve Trevor, John Lynch, Alex Fairchild, Cole Cash, and Slade Wilson as a team.
Why?
Because the DC people want you to give a crap about Wildstorm.
Oh, and this will do it?
Yes, it will. What the hell is wrong with
Good luck with that. Good luck with that idea.
He just open a tapas bar.
Hates Wildstorm. And that is part of the 3rd wave.
3rd wave.
And DC's already said yes, there's a 4th wave coming too.
You're going to relaunch all the books again. Go back.
Well, they won't relaunch all the books. The Zero issues are actually the 1-year anniversary.
Ah,
but
right,
the plan is
gotcha.
to always have 52 books.
Oh, 52, the new 52. Speaking of the new 52, one of the books in the new 52 is, of course, Justice League of America. And Jim Lee is leaving that book very soon, which means sales are going to go right in a crapper when he does. But who's going to take Jim Lee's place when he leaves?
Well, supposedly Lee's going to leave around issue 16, which is sometime next year.
Yeah.
And DC is right now trying to find these. It's got to be a big name artist.
Yeah.
The problem is
they've alienated everything.
They don't have any of those people over at DC anymore.
They've alienated.
They're all working. I mean, at one point it could have been Brian Hitch, but he's over there working at Image.
Yeah.
It could
have been Frank Quitely, but he's working with Mark Millar over at Image. Right. So it's got to be somebody big. It can't be.
Oh, Johnny Romita Jr.
He's got a Marvel exclusive. That's not going to happen.
Really?
Yeah, John Romita Jr. is never going to leave Marvel. Right. It's just never going to happen. Oliver Copiel, who DC had, well, they let him go away, so he's not coming back there either. So DC's going to keep looking, and hopefully they'll find someone big.
Frank Miller.
Yeah, Frank Miller doesn't work for DC anymore either. It's got to be somebody big. I mean, they've got guys that will actually be able to do the book, but they're not big name artists. I mean, if Pete Woods took over the book, I'd be fine, because I like Pete Woods' artwork. If they could, but they don't have a lot of big deal, wow, this is a great artist for this book.
Yeah.
Charles Schultz.
It's It's got to be an all-star team, and they don't have a lot of all-stars. They got guys who are working their way towards being all-stars. They had Mark Bagley, and they let him go back to Marvel. So,
Okay. Meanwhile, over in the Vertigo universe, yes, Vertigo is still over at DC. Sweet Tooth is going to be wrapping it up when?
Sweet Tooth is ending with number 40. Jeff Lemire is ending the book on his own terms. He's not ending it because he's got other stuff to do. He said at 40, the story's done. They got nothing else to talk about.
Also at Vertigo, wrapping up is
Dominic Laveau, Voodoo Child, the book which was dead on arrival, will actually be officially dead with issue number 7.
Okay.
So Dennis Cowan, you go, Dennis Cowan, I like to see Dennis Cowan's art. Well, you can find something else from the work.
Okay, starting over at Vertigo is going to be the new book called
It's going to be called Collider.
Collider.
It's written by the guy who wrote the
Like this, Collide.
It's,
Collider.
it's going to be written by the Exterminators writer Simon Oliver.
You know, it's not easy doing this stuff. It really
it'll
isn't.
be drawn
You gotta
by
come up with something to keep you
Robbie
entertained.
Rodriguez.
Most of you are already turned off anyway, so I mean, we're entertaining
I'm
ourselves.
a star.
We're entertaining ourselves at this point. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway,
Collider.
Simon Oliver's going to write the book. It's going to be drawn by Robert Rodriguez, who's drawn some issues of Uncanny X-Force. Gee, another guy they got from Marvel. Oh, did you see anybody that actually started it?
Maybe he'll take over JLA.
He's not that big an artist. But the ongoing series will tell of a federal agent who works for the Federal Bureau of Physics.
They got one of those?
Well, apparently in this Vertigo world, physics just decides to go crazy someday. So, you'll walk down the street, you'll walk out of the house from work, and all of a sudden a black hole will pop up in front of your house. Well, when that happens,
sucks.
you got to call somebody and go, hey, can someone fix this thing? My car's being sucked into it.
That
and,
sucks.
and in comes in the Federal Bureau of Physics.
Oh, physics. There you go. There you go. There you go. Wrapping it up, we're going to cover a couple of books that are being canceled over at DC, starting off with the international edition of Justice League.
Justice League International will end with an annual. That book is being canceled because if you're going to bring in 4 new books, you have to kill 4 books.
Yes. Goes back to our top story
Right.
of the 4-0 issues that are coming.
But that will end in August. DC's also canceled Voodoo, Captain Atom, and Resurrection Man.
So if you like those books, well, you'll love the new books that are coming.
Suckers!
You'll love the new books that are coming. And that's it. We're done. Finished round of it. We got no more DC news. But go to the store's website. Check out all the DC news that Bo sends me and I post up. And where's that website at?
Resurrection Man knows.
You know the usual. www.myalternatereality.com.
So go to the store's website. Check out all of his news. And until next time, this is Comic Book Man.
And this is Mitch Shelley.
Mitch Shelley saying, bye!
Alive.
Alternate Reality now opens at 10:30 instead of 11 on Sundays. There's like half an hour sleep over this, and so you guys better show up.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.